guys, Liv here with my 25-week bump date. I had my glucose test on Thursday, which I put in a separate video, but I got those results back and I passed. Woohoo! So all of that was worth it and I don't have to go through it again, so I feel super, super relieved. In terms of how I've been doing, on Sunday, I basically woke up and I had some movement, but not nearly as much as I had been in the mornings previous. Sort of for the prior, maybe I'd say like 3 or 4 mornings, I would have like tons and tons of movement, like starting around like 5 a.m. and it would keep me up. But that morning, it was just like very minimal movements, but there was some. And then I didn't feel anything for the rest of the day. And I started getting like a little, I was like, you know, it's normal because we're out and about and we're doing things. I was like, but you know, usually I'll feel something if I try and tune into it or like pay attention. And still nothing. And so increasingly throughout the day, I got more and more concerned until early evening when I mentioned it to Eric, and I was just like, I'm just going to lay down, I'm going to drink some cold water, because I heard if you drink cold water laying on your left side, usually it kind of makes activity come alive. So I did that and it didn't work, and so I started panicking. So I stopped taking my Love Knocks maybe 3 or 4 days ago, no, 5 days ago, a little while ago now. And so I literally felt like maybe there was some kind of correlation. I mean, obviously this is a fear of mine, so here I am, there's no fetal movement compared to previous days, and I had recently gone off this drug. So anyways, we called the clinic and talked to them, and they basically like recommended for me to lay down and, you know, kind of try and see if I could feel any movement, like 10 movements within an hour or so. Even though I had been basically doing that for about a good half an hour and still hadn't felt anything. So we continued with that. I decided to like kind of put myself on like bed rest. Eric brought me some food. I made sure I drank like 3 or 4 glasses of water and laid back down, and I laid absolutely still. And eventually he started kicking again. So we didn't have to go in to get a scan or anything for that reassurance. We were fortunate that it kind of just picked back up. We think that I overworked myself and that I was dehydrated, because basically with moving and everything, we've been unpacking and running a million errands, and I think I just was forgetting to drink as much water as I normally do, and I was getting dehydrated because it was really hot and we were out and about. So anyways, that wasn't a fun experience, but it's over now, so we're all good. We're still, you know, a little apprehensive about having gone off of the Love Knocks or the enoxaparin, which is the blood thinner. So I'm still kind of like really paying attention to fetal movement and just trying to, I'm staying very as calm as I can about it all, but obviously like I'm just trying to kind of pay attention and listen to my body, and if I notice anything, I just want to be on top of it. So emotionally, I'm a little bit more on edge than I normally am, or have been recently at least. And trying to kind of work through that on a day-by-day basis. It probably doesn't help that Eric is away. So he's at a conference all week, and I'm just kind of by myself at the moment. My mother's coming in today, which is really nice, so I will have someone around in case something happens. But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing for the most part. In terms of other symptoms and things that are going on, everything's sort of pretty much the same. Back pain, acid reflux, and heartburn. I do have more energy than normal. I was really, really tired for a good 3 days, and that was overlapping with when I was having the decreased fetal movement, and that was just because I was, like I said, doing so much, and I wasn't sleeping very well, and we had a big storm here in Texas, so one night, so that didn't help either. So I caught up on some sleep, and like energy-wise, I definitely do have more energy than I had a while back, so I'm still enjoying that. Trying to get us settled and set up before baby comes. So we've started kind of buying stuff for the nursery and that's obviously like a priority, but I really want to have the rest of the house kind of set up and good to go before even really worrying about that. Because for me, the nursery is something that I've always really wanted to do, but it's also really not the single biggest priority. I think it's more important to have the home in order so that when baby comes, we have everything sort of in an environment that'll make us feel settled. And the baby's going to be in our room for the beginning months anyhow, so obviously I want to have it done before he comes, but I'm just not in an immediate rush or panic about it. I really think that might be it, to be honest with you. I don't have a ton to kind of chat about. You know, he's growing and developing. I do worry that my belly's not getting very big and that I haven't gained a lot of weight. Those are still things that are on my mind. But I've had a lot of reassurance from you guys, which has been amazing, just telling me that, you know, every pregnancy is different, every body is different, and everyone carries differently and gains weight differently. So I'm trying to let that reassure me, but I'm always just worrying that he's not growing, especially because I do have this additional growth scan that the OB wants me to get in a few weeks. So I am looking forward to the fact that starting in a couple weeks now, we will have appointments every 2 weeks instead of every 4 weeks. I think that's going to help me feel reassured, especially as we get closer to the due date. If you didn't watch that video of our glucose test, there was a conversation with my OB about induction, and so I've done some research and things like that. I still haven't come to a decision about how I feel about all of it. Obviously, I prefer natural birth, and I just don't know, I can't foresee what's going to happen. You know, maybe I'll go into labor 2 weeks early. Like, you just don't know. So I'm trying to not get myself too worked up about it and just kind of see how things go. We start our birth classes this week, though. Of course, Eric's not here, so I'm going solo, which will be unfortunate because I'll probably be the only one there without a partner. But he'll be there next week, so that's good. But I'm excited to kind of get going with that and learn more about the process and sort of what to expect, because to be honest with you, after going through infertility and learning and reading so much about that process, I feel like I could teach a course on it, to be honest with you. I just didn't feel like reading and draining myself that same way with pregnancy. And I know I need to be prepared. I just didn't, early on, especially just with all my anxieties and whatnot, I just did not want to overwhelm myself. So now as we get closer and closer, it's definitely important that I do get knowledge on the subject and be prepared. But this class should cover, it's like a 12-week course, so it should cover a good deal of that. And then between that and my doula, I think should be good to go. I'm also reading a hypnobirthing book. It's I have a home study guide from my doula. It's really interesting. I don't know if any of you have ever done a hypnobirth. The language is all different. The way that they, rather than contractions, they call them, I think, pressure waves. I'm still really early on in it. Obviously, we're doing a Bradley method for our birthing class, and hypnobirthing is different philosophies probably. So, obviously, I have to decide which direction I'm going to go, but I just think that some of the hypnobirthing concepts fit really well with sort of my holistic, meditative, crystal-oriented self. But the Bradley method kind of appeals to my more logical-driven, concrete side. So I'm a bit torn anyways, but maybe having knowledge of both will bring me to a place where I feel good and I can kind of just make my own method, the live method. But yeah, anyway, so that's my update for now, guys. What should we have coming up? Our next video should probably be about the nursery design, but I just can't guarantee, just with my mom coming into town and then Eric coming back, and it's a bit hectic for the next couple weeks. So it may just be this bump date, my next bump date, and then we'll get into some of that stuff. But until then, thanks for watching. Thanks for following along and all your support, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.